there. It's the Old Raggamuffin Show. Look who's here. Look who is here.
Myself, Stryda, in the house.
My good friend DJ Stryda, a.k.a. Samuel. You say, bro, you alright? You good?
Yeah, good to be here, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Brother, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here still, you know what I mean? So to all who don't know, this is one half of the mighty Dubkasm. And
don't do that again, bro.
Yeah, I should never do that again, should I? You know what I mean? So this is one half of the mighty Dubkasm. And also, what I want to talk to you about first is Mr. Teachers in Dub himself, the promoter of Teachers in Dub.
Yeah.
So how long has that been going now?
That's been going about 12 years, I think now. 12, 13 years. Yeah. We celebrated the 10-year one at that annual weekender we do with Deep Medi.
Yeah.
So that was a few years ago. So I think it's about 13 years now.
13 years.
I know.
That's strong, innit? That's strong.
Time ticking on, man.
Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like in the beginning? What was the meds when you said when you were gonna put on the first one? Was you thinking longevity? Was you thinking about?
I think I'd already been putting on some dances in Bristol for a while. Did a couple in conjunction with Trinity.
Okay.
Some people who work there at Trinity. I'd also done a few with the sound system. I was in Negus Melody.
Yeah.
And we did Passion FM,
yeah.
the radio station I was on at the time.
Yeah.
They decided to back a few dances. So we did Into the Realms of Dub, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And that was kind of set up just to play, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You put on a dance because you want to play.
Yeah, of course.
And it wasn't my event, it was Passion FM's event, they fronted it. But yeah, in 2007, wanted to do, carry these nights on, but weren't sure which sort of direction to take it in.
Yeah.
And then I linked up with the dubstep DJ Pinch.
Yeah. And Big up Pinch, you know.
Big up Pinch, yeah. He ran a successful night in Bristol called Subloaded, which was responsible for bringing dubstep to Bristol, really.
Yeah, man.
And so also at the same time, the Bristol Reggae Society, a group of students at the uni, they wanted to get a bit more involved with some roots events, dub events, and they'd linked up with me asking about doing that. So this was putting an event on was already on our minds, basically.
Okay.
And yeah, we found this club called Clockwork, literally just up the road from where we are now, and that's sadly now bulldozed. But at the time, Clockwork was it had been running in Bristol for a while under different names, and it was 2 floors, so we could have subloaded upstairs, and we could do teachings in dub downstairs.
Okay.
So that was the first dance, 2007.
Right.
Abba Shanti meets the Mighty Tabut.
Okay.
So and that was a wicked dance. The policy of teachings in dub at that time was dubplate only, start to finish.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first year or two, it was like that.
Dubplate all night.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go careful with the terminology because obviously not every man plays actual dub plates. So I put unreleased dubs start to finish. So then it was free for people to play them on whatever format they desired. So ABBA obviously is playing actual acetates, and Tabut were playing their dubs off CD, I think, but it was unreleased dubs start to finish.
Mad.
That gave it an excitement, you know.
Yeah. I remember I've spoken to you about it before, and you always said that you wanted teachers in dub not to be just you were trying to introduce the dub music how it should be.
Yeah,
basically,
I've always wanted it to be like an authentic representation of roots and dub sound system events. That was the idea.
Yes, sir.
And so it's my job to get the people in, but it's the sound system's job to steer that dance in an authentic way and,
yes, sir.
And deliver the music.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, that it was. I created that space really. And at that time, it was in conjunction with the Reggae Society and obviously Pinch being upstairs. But due to the timing, due to 2007, that dubstep sound was just blowing up.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were turning people away. It was, you know, some events that you do, they take a while to build up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But this was rammed from the start.
Okay.
You know? It
Okay.
was, because a lot of people were coming for upstairs. We had our crowd still, but a lot of people were coming for upstairs, and then they would venture downstairs for just to see what room two.
See what I got.
Yeah, exactly. What's room 2 saying? And they'd come down, and then they'd hear these 2 sound systems just going at it all night, and it was heavy in there, man. You know, it's so it was. I think it was about, the capacity upstairs was 600 odd, and the capacity downstairs 400 maybe.
Okay.
So the room downstairs would be really get quickly busy.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was heavy. Yeah. And so I've spoken to a few people, and they've said to me how they ventured downstairs, and that was the first time they'd heard a reggae sound system.
Okay.
So because they'd come for the music upstairs, and they loved it. Yeah. But when they ventured down, that was their first experience of dub being played through a sound system like that. Which is quite nice, because that's led on to other things, like people have, you know, formed their own sounds or production outfits or whatever. So, you know, it's nice to know that they were that was their first experiences, and they were inspired by it.
Okay. Nice. And it must have been so you've basically seen the transformation in. 'Cause I remember a time when he used to go to a roots dance, a dub dance or whatever like that, and the numbers were thin.
Very.
There was a time when numbers was really, really thin.
There was a time when, if we wanted to go to a roots dance, we call it a roots dance, but I don't mean a revival dance. I mean a roots dance where they were playing King David style.
Yes, sir.
You know, that term that Shaka coined, really, that where you know it's going to be some of that digital dub in amongst the roots as well.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be warrior style, King David style. There was a period in Bristol when, if we wanted to go to those dances, we had to go to London. Yeah. Because it wasn't really happening. There was a thin period. Obviously, Bristol's got a massive sound system history. Yeah. But during the 90s, things were so dancehall dominated that, especially during the latter part of the 90s, there just wasn't. You might have Shaka come down once in a while and the odd thing. Yeah. But literally, if you really wanted regular sessions, we would go up to the Rocket in London, Holloway Road. Yeah. Brixton Rec, of course. Brixton Rec was like the schoolroom. Yeah, University of Dub up there, massive. And that continued. So, yeah, if you flash forward to Bristol now, a lot of people seem to think like Bristol's, it's arguably one of the capital of UK dub. I mean,
people call it. Well, they call it the bass, the bass capital
music.
of UK, bass music. I'd go more for that than saying it's the capital of dub.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what I've seen online. Because obviously you've got massive things going on in Leeds, and you have for years with sub-dub. London's been huge for ages, and so on. But the fact people are even bounding those terms around just goes to show
where it's come from.
That it's so popular here now. And I think there's younger people, obviously, who've just been growing up in it recently, or just moved to Bristol, and they're like, wow, there's roots and dub things to go all the time. Yes, sir. But it wasn't like that at one point.
Okay, you're right. I remember the 90s. That only time I ever come to Bristol was for Bashment dance. Yeah. That's the only time I was coming to Bristol. Oh, no, that's a lie.
Old Raggamuffin.
You know what I mean? That's a lie. I come up here a few times like Malcolm X for certain shows, you know what I mean? And we used to play certain shows in Malcolm X as well, with like live bands, you know, Berris, Morgan Heritage.
Some great you remember them shows? I was probably at those shows as well, man.
Yeah, man, of course you was. I taught you, innit? What you mean, man?
I used to love all those shows. Who did I see at Malcolm X in the 90s? Berris Hammond. I think, was it Top Cat supported maybe? Yeah, I think it was. And then there was, Buju played there, Luciano. Remember the Scare Them crew, Red Rat and all of them. Bounty, Beanie, Yeah, pure stage shows.
And that's all that's all I remember about Bristol in the 90s was just the stage shows. Them like they always, all of the big artists used to come through here. If there was a tour going on and they was coming to Europe or coming to the UK, they have to touch Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm X was always on the leg of the tour, wasn't it?
Always.
And we were really treated in that time to see all those stage shows. So, you know, I was going to a lot of those dancehall things as well because even though those King David roots dances were a bit sparse, there was so many dancehall nights you could go to. And being a teenager in the 90s, enough of my friends didn't want to go roots dances. Anyway.
Teenager?
Yeah, teenager. Youth man, you know?
See?
Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
No, I just thought I thought you was like 29 in the 90s.
You joke.
Still, but anyway. Yeah, because enough people don't even realise that about you, you know. I notice like when we've been on the road, solo Banton and Dubkasm and stuff like that, you know. Obviously, people's going to talk to you about dub music always. Yeah. Like I've started talking to you about that, you know what I mean? But I don't think people really understand the wide scope of music that you listen to. No. Because you was a raver and you did used to go to them bashment dances.
Yeah.
And I've seen you on the garage and all of them.
I had my pair of Patrick Cox shoes and go to all them garage raves as well.
You see that?
Yeah, and I'm really pleased about that because Bristol had a lot to offer, you know. We had some amazing early jungle events that I went to. When garage came in, some wicked garage raves. Yeah. But mainly for me in the 90s, it was going out to soul and R&B events with friends and dancehall, mainly because of being a teenager. That's what we were listening to, late teens, and that's what my friends were on.
Yes, sir.
A lot of my black friends would say, well, why would I want to go out to a dance and listen to my dad's music? You know what I mean? That's what they used to say. So we'd go to dancehall things because it was current.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So I had to venture off on my own to go to the roots dances or with DJing.
Okay, I understand that still.
And those dancehall, you know, events were fire. It's worth talking about because, as you know, you were there, you were playing at them.
Yes, sir.
Classic Wonder. Classic 90s Wonder.
90s Wonder.
I remember seeing that on the flyer. And yeah, I mean, like the energy and the vibes in those dances was real, wasn't it? You know, pure rewinds,
second to none,
dragon
really.
stout bottles licking on the wall and all that.
But even though we're calling them bashment dances or dance or whatever you want to call it, well, everyone wants to put music in a genre now, but we're in a little box, you know what I mean? But whatever you want to call it, those dances you used to hear everything. You wouldn't just go there and only hear Scare Them Crew or Rare Tear Tear.
Oh, there was segments, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was always segments.
Yeah,
always,
I love
always segments. Yeah, I miss that.
Yeah, I used to love going, and then it's like, I'd always love that cultural time because there would always be some culture tunes, innit? It'd be like, yo, God time now. Yeah. And then, bam, in with a 20 minutes, half an hour segment, some Lucy, Cocoa Tea.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
All of that.
You know what? And it was always not the easiest way, but probably it's the easiest way to come back in after another sound's been playing, especially if they've been playing well. Yeah. And they're really hyped, like playing a bag of bashment tunes and Rare Tear.
You're not going to follow with the same.
No, it don't make no sense. You try and come in and that. So you just, all right, you know, all God out, no, you know. No, child, all this, you know what I mean? It's me again, child. Yeah. And play Smash Up, you know
exactly,
what I mean?
Yeah, for real. I love that, the switching between, and even sometimes like you've done before. Remember I heard you, not back then, but more recent times, playing as Classic Wonder with Rodigan. Yeah. And then Rodigan's mashing up the place with specials, and you just come in with some R&B. I was like, yes, solo. Because it's switching it again, isn't it? All the girl, you know.
It's the psychology of the team.
Playing for the women in the dance as well.
Yeah.
Loving. They
wanted them time there as well, you know. Remember the dances was always like, whenever we put on a dance anyway, most dances I think it'd be like ladies free before 12.
Yeah.
You know, ladies free before 11 or something like that. Yeah. Ladies £5 before 1 or something like that. So there would always be women inside the dance. Yeah. So you could always switch it.
And they wanted some of those tunes.
Yeah, exactly.
Jodeci or whatever.
Exactly. I remember one time we played with Love Injection. We had a clash with Love Injection and Music Street. Robo Ranks. Okay. Sound was Music Street. Yeah. When he was in Sound. Yeah. and we had a clash with them. And when we started, everyone's waiting for the dance to start, and we started our first round. First thing we done was like we played 4 R&B tunes, man.
Wicked.
Played Montel Jordan, like this is how we do. Played like 4 tunes, and we're like, oh, what's going on? I was like, all right, you ready now?
Love it.
Boom, Born to Kill a Dub plate, and just go in and clash start. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
it's always nice to throw people off and come in and coming away there. So you've seen a lot, you know. You've seen a big difference, you know, because obviously, them time there when you was going dance, like white people was the minority.
100%, yeah.
Like you must have been like
you'd always get a few white women, but you'd hardly get any white men. That was the standard thing. Whereas even back then at a roots King David style dubwise session, like Shaka or whatever in the 90s, it would be more mixed than it is these days, I would say. But it was still big pockets of white people going in. I remember standing in Malcolm X, like, I don't know, 15, 16, I was underage, but, you know, going to these dances. And I was stood by a group of black guys, and I could hear them saying, why, look how all them white people love to sit on the floor. And I remember thinking to myself, like, there was a noticeable difference with the crowds coming in, because the white crowd in general, going to those sessions would be a bit more of a alternative crowd, if you want to say, going to a lot of festivals and stuff. So they'd be like waiting for Shaka to set up, sitting on the floor, rolling roll-ups and stuff. Whereas all the long-time man-them's just always going to stand up in groups and whatever. No one ain't sitting on the floor.
No, they ain't sitting on the floor.
So, yeah, it was... I remember thinking at the time, I'm not sitting on the floor. I'm not going to sit on the floor. But all jokes aside, like, because of the original ites in the dance, that did set a code of conduct, and it was people were an example of this is what goes on, this is how people behave in the dances. Like, you know, how people are signalling for tunes, calling for rewinds, just skanking, dancing. I remember seeing one in Malcolm X again, seeing at Shaka. I saw one Ras who I've come to know over the years now, Mutevia, rocker, and I remember seeing him, and he was dressed in a tracksuit, and Shaka was late setting up, and my man's in his tracksuit, and he's like doing all these stretches, and he's limbering up, and I was thinking, as a kid, what's all that about, you know? It's like, it looks like he's getting ready for the gym. And anyway, when Shaka came on and my man starts bussing some spring toe business, skanking and jumping around, I realised he was warming up
because he was
to step in the dance.
Because
stepping and striding was a real thing then. You know? It was people really shocking out. but seeing that was all an education.
Of
for
course,
me. And what I worry about now is with less of the original crowd in the dances, newcomers don't get to see so much of that, so then it kind of just, the behaviour in the dance can sort of stray away from how it was back then.
It's not nothing you're really going to get back, is it really?
Who knows? It was an era, wasn't it? Times change and times move on. I just feel very grateful to have caught some of that in the 90s at those roots dances. But going back to what you said with the dancehall things, I feel equally grateful to have been in those dancehall sessions, because for me it just cemented as a white person loving reggae. It cemented me being a guest in black music. And I've never felt a way about being a guest. I'm happy to be a guest, you know what I mean? It's like that's always what it was, because I don't know, you walk into Small Hall Malcolm X and it's Ram, and there's an all black crowd, maybe a couple white women, and then I went in with two white friends to this particular dance, Qualitex, Scratchulous, Mr. Mention on the mic, wicked dance. Place is ram. You got, like, you know, elder couples out for the night. You got some of the young youths coming in the dance. You got all of Aggie crew stood up, making their presence known. Everyone's there, basically. Anyway, we're in there and we're loving these vibes. And then suddenly one of the selectors just plays that Black Skin Boys. Mm-hmm. You know, remember that chick? Who is that by? 15, 16, 17 are they called?
Yeah.
Like a
Was
trio.
that them?
I don't know.
Black Skin Boy, that you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's 15,
I
16,
never
17.
really knew. Yeah, I think it was them. Yeah.
No, was it Kofi though?
Maybe Kofi. I don't know. I don't know, but I just always remember
I can't remember now, you know.
And but you know the one I'm on about, obviously.
Yeah.
And they drop that tune, and the place goes wild in there. And it's like I said, it's Ram, and they draw up the tune, and the man goes, "Yo, this is to all the women in the dance who never deal with a white man in all them life." And he just crunched back down with the needle and dropped the tune. All these women are screaming and the place is going off. And I felt like me and my two friends were just lighting up like a light bulb right now. You know what I mean? Like illuminating the place. There's like there's only 3 white guys in the dance. But obviously it's got a funny side. But all jokes aside, it's an example of, you know, it's a black thing. This is black people getting together on a weekend for entertainment.
Yes, sir.
You know, free up themselves, and we were coming in as guests, and so I'm glad to have seen all of that and have been a part of that, because I think when you do, it gives you a certain understanding of what the music's about and a certain respect of whose it is.
I was just gonna say. That it gives you don't you think it brings a certain respect, you know what I mean? Because everybody's free to do what they do, of course, you know what I mean? But you know, that Friday night or that Saturday night from 8 o'clock, you're looking at your clothes and you start ironing, you know, you buy a brand new shirt, you know what I mean, or something like that.
I was a man for the garms as well.
You get what I'm saying? It's like ironing out all your nice things, and you know, you make like, polishing up your shoes and things like that. Whereas nowadays, you know what I mean, people ain't really dressing up to go out like that.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's so
I see
different.
Man wearing the same clothes he picked me up from in the airport in the morning, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's cool, but that's your business.
But it's different, isn't it? Again, that was the code of conduct, wasn't it? And it was like, people want to go out on a Friday, they've worked hard all week, and they want to dress up. And I think people were smelling fresh, dressing nice, and that's a big
but
part
yeah,
of
it shows it's a respect for the event kind of thing, a respect for yourself, but it shows
a respect all round.
It gives a respect for the thing, you know what I mean? I'm not saying anyone's disrespected by not doing that, but you know,
I agree. I used to love that, because then you can, you know, there were certain fashions and what.
Oh yeah, I see a few pictures of you in the click suits and stuff like that, you know, bro.
I had a couple click suits, click shirts. I used to love
click suits, you know.
I look ridiculous though, to be honest, you know.
At the time you probably looked cool, but now they look ridiculous. I had this great click suit one time. It was like electric blue, corduroy, top and bottom.
Wicked.
And it had like some patchwork up here.
Used to love the corduroy ones, man.
And that's some patchwork on here, and then that patchwork was on the trousers. I loved this suit. I couldn't wait to bust it, man. And we played this dance. I don't know what dance it was. And I turned up in this click suit feeling good. Imagine someone was wearing the same suit, man. I was fuming. I was vexed.
I got the similar story going to Malcolm X again, and I went there. I went Frontline Videos in the daytime to get something to wear. Yeah. I had a FUBU suit, a FUBU tracksuit. Yeah. And I got one of those Kangol hats, right?
Yeah.
And I go in there thinking, got the outfit. Bam. Sanchez is on stage.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're all waiting for Sanchez, waiting for him to turn up, and he comes running out on stage. He got the same flipping hat on as me.
What you wearing?
He got the same hat, and he'd gone into Frontline Videos that day and picked up a hat. She'd sold the same hat, because I spoke to Debbie after.
Okay.
And she said, he was in the shop.
That's all right, though. That's not too bad. If the artist
I felt like a real fan, you know what I mean?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, there is that part still, you know what I mean? So would you say you still feel like a guest now? A guest in it? You were saying that you felt like a guest
I think with my knowledge of it and that experience in the past, I will always feel like a guest. But I can see how a white person coming into the scene nowadays might not, because, blimey, you could go to a dance now and it's a white sound system. It's nearly an all-white crowd. And, you know, why would they feel like a guest now?
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's
I've done shows and I'm the only black person there.
And how does that make you feel?
It's cool. I mean, music is music, isn't it? Music appeals to everybody. So it's cool. I don't regret that or against that. There's differences. There's things that are being done that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
People are acting in certain ways that I wouldn't really want. I wouldn't act in that way.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives a different vibe. It can change the vibe of what you was expecting or hoping. But I've come accustomed to it now. But when I was first realising that and getting to grips with it, it was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Because there was things that was being done, like I said, there was people doing stuff and acting in certain ways that I wasn't used to in that kind of scene.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
In that way there, do you know what I mean? So it's a bit,
feel a bit weird, and I think, like you said, music's for everyone, and it's amazing how reggae spread around the world, and we tour off of it and everything, don't we? We're all, you know, like we've linked up in loads of countries with you, and it's amazing, powerful. I think, going back to those dancehall nights, I think something that's sometimes missing now is the reasons people might be calling for a rewind, for example. So when you're playing reggae music to a reggae crowd, and by a reggae crowd I just mean people who live and breathe and know the lyrics and the music, it's been on in their home growing up, and especially with dancehall, with some of the DJ artists and patois, it's like people understanding the lyrics and knowing what's being said. People are, you know, a lot of that crowd were calling for the rewind because of what's just been said in the tune.
Yes, sir.
As opposed to the bass line dropping.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
and
sir.
it's like, I feel sometimes some of that's a bit lost.
It's
nowadays.
it's kind of, you have to kind of reprogram your brain of what the forward is going to be, what the forward is for, kind of thing. You know, I had a show. Remember I said to you I had a show a little while ago, and it was what's it called? Can't remember what it was called anyway, but it was myself, Tenor Star, Little Roy, and Colour Man on one sound.
Okay.
And then on the other sound was Horseman, Ricky Rankin, Lecturer, General TK.
Wicked.
Yeah, so it's like taking it back to that, you know what I mean, to that thing there, you know. And the crowd was like 100. It was like 100% black.
Yeah.
You know, and so then it was really funny because then I started chatting lyrics, and I was getting forward in different places that I've never got forward for, like a new lyrics that I've never got forward for in that place.
Yeah.
Because I was getting forward for what I was saying.
Well, there you go. That's literally
Whereas
proof
before,
of it.
it was exactly that. Whereas usually, you know, when I'm in dances where there's a majority of white people there, I'm getting forward because I do the fast bit.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
And people just
once I get into the fast style, you get it forward,
and they like that flow.
and then that's when you go. You know,
Yeah,
but I was getting forward before that because of the lines that I was saying, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just just to prove
That's
exactly
a
what
prime
you say.
example.
Yeah.
I find that all interesting, and it's a point. You know, I do think you know, when you're in a dance and people are signaling big tunes and it's for the message and whatever, it's really powerful. For me, that's when reggae's at its most powerful. You know, a sound system's in there and you drop a tune and the crowd all fully live it and understand it, and they respond and call for a rewind. That's just like the vibes, man.
I mean, like I say, you know, music's for everybody still, you know, so it's not even like you shouldn't be listening to that or nothing like that.
No, of course not.
Saying nothing
We're
like
just
that
talking
still.
about the changes.
Yeah, just the changes,
And,
you know what I mean?
it's the older you get, it's interesting to just see how things do shift and change and whatever. But a lot of people said to me before, well, I didn't want to listen to what my parents listened to anyway, and they went on, and a lot of my friends, you know, and now they so they didn't come to lots of the roots dances, like I said, and now all these years later they're asking for guest lists and want to turn up and stuff because they've got a bit older.
And now you want to hear that good music now, you know what I mean? I think that happens. I think that even happens with food, you know, because as a youth growing up, I didn't like soup at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like soup at all. My mum would make soup, you know what I mean? Or dad would make soup and I'd be vexed.
Now you love a soup.
What? I make that as much as possible, you know what I mean? I'm like, Eli, let's go. Let's go and shop. He's like, why, soup time? I say, yeah, man, soup time.
Pick up Eli.
Yeah,
I want him to do me some soup.
So yeah, I think that happens, isn't it? You know, when you're young, you wanna do the opposite of what your parents are doing.
Yeah.
And then,
So I think that's a part of it.
Once you get older, you're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Mum and Dad was right, you know.
It's a part of the shift, you know, with music listening tastes and stuff, isn't it? It's generation thing.
So, in a dance, you're in a roots dance, yeah? In teaching in dub, let's say. Are you happy to hear steppers all night?
No, definitely not. And I think I rarely am in a dance where I hear steppers all night. I hear a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, it was steppers all night. And I think, well, I was in there. And people have often said it about Iration before now. And I think, well, you didn't hear that one drop he played. And then he played those few revival tunes and a couple of those nice specials on like a yard style rhythm. And then at the end, he went into steppers, and then someone might say, God, it was pure steppers. And I'm like, didn't listen to the whole journey. For me, in a dance, it's if you're in a dance for a long period of time, it can't be one pace. Otherwise, you're going to run out of steam. I think the sound will run out of steam. I think the audience run out of steam. And if you're playing 3 a.m. style at 11 p.m., where are you going to actually go at 3 a.m. when you get there? You know, you can fall at that first hurdle, I think. So I personally prefer the range of styles.
But like you said, though, I don't think I have been in a dance where it's steppers all night.
I think people complain about. I mean, who knows? Some people say that abroad it's a bit more like that. But even enough of the dances I've played abroad, you get sound systems like Blackboard Jungle and OBF as well. You know, people have said it about OBF with the steppers thing. I've heard them play some wicked reggae.
You know what it is?
Rubber dub style, everything. It's not
definitely.
steppers all night.
But you know what it is though? If you're not in the dance, well, if you're in the dance, you only remember the bit when everyone was going mad.
Yeah, and that's usually the steppers bit at the end, lights
you only
on.
remember that bit, you know?
And that's the video circling.
Or yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If you wasn't in the dance, those are the only videos you see. Because those are the videos everyone's going to post up because everyone's just going like this.
Yeah,
the
of
whole
course,
crowd
it's the hype video,
you know?
isn't it?
So they believe that it's that all night, and it isn't.
And I think obviously, I think there is certain dances there can be a lot more, but yeah, I think the variation is crucial, really, for me.
I don't think you have to, though. If I wanted to give the other side of the argument, though, I don't think. Maybe it's where we're at, you know, with a different crowd. So maybe what I'm going to say is outdated. But I don't think you can only get a forward by playing a certain style of being steppers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, for me, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. If I was selecting, you know, I don't mind turning around and playing a revival.
Yeah, of course.
Normally, you know, but I suppose that's what I'm saying. Maybe because the crowd's different, maybe you do have to do that. Because at 3 o'clock in the morning, am I going to get a forward from that crowd by putting on Israel Vibration?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends, again, if you're doing a 2-sound thing, say at Teachings, and they've just been playing the other sound's been playing some raw steppers, digital steppers or something. Sometimes an Israel Vibration at the right time could just work, but then if you're doing 2 for 2, you follow it up with a steppers.
Yeah.
So you end your round with a steppers. I think it can work then. But, you know, people often, there's often this argument going round and round on the internet, isn't it? These same arguments, and the steppers thing is one of them. Gets a bit boring, really. But I think, I've often thought, well, I'd get a bit bored if it was 1 drop all night, personally. So there's that flip argument, you know what I mean? Like it's that journey, isn't it, of tempo.
Yeah, of course.
You want to build up to a vibe and then dip back down and catch your breath again, especially if you're a stepper.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to step to certain tunes, rock out in a sweat, and then end up needing to catch your breath and cool out for a bit, and then you're just going to hold a medi and stride out to something slower. It's just that journey. So that you know, it's all got its place, really.
Yes, sir.
But you do get kind of formulaic stuff being built and made just to get that YouTube video. You know, it's the play it, jack it up, whoa, everyone go mad. You know, a lot of people, if they're not rating it as a good video or a good dance if they're not getting that, and that's not necessarily the truth, is it? Because you could have a nice vibe without. It can't be that moment anyway all night long. Yeah. So. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, for real. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about, you know, even though I know Digi Steph is not here, big up Digi every time. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I've watched as Dubkasm, I've watched your productions and the releases that you do. And I've always been pleasantly surprised and admired the amount of effort that you put into a release. As in, I feel like you concentrate a lot on quality and not necessarily just try to get a banger out there that's gonna sell. I think it would be very easy for you and Digi to be releasing some okay stuff that would sell crazily, you know. But then you turn around and then you do, for example, you do the Brazilian album.
Rastrumentals.
Yeah. And then you turn around and do a project like that. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. What's the meds like? Obviously, it's just a quality thing. You believe in quality, then, or?
I think again, it's what we were just saying about those different, enjoying all those different styles. So for me, going to a lot of sound system over the years, and not, you know, root sound system, dance all nights, but, you know, jungle raves, garage raves, just lots of nights out. You know, you appreciate lots of different music, different styles, and I think within reggae, I've always, you know, I love that rubber dub rhythm, and I love that roots revival, and I love the digital steppers. I'm not like picking one area. I love it all. And I think with Digi's musicianship, I've often been able to come with an idea, and Digi can make that happen. He's very good at that, man. He's like a whiz kid, you know. So, for example, you know, you got a tune like Babylon Ambush, just a raw digital dub. But then, when I said to Digi about doing something on that Gussie Clark sort of style, and he came with that, you know, a couple of those sort of style rhythms, I was like, it's just incredible what he comes up with. It's wicked. He's really good at it, man. And then, so really, it's just been about us representing all those different influences and styles, really. I wouldn't want the Dubkasm catalogue to be one way. And I feel, that's something I feel quite proud of, and I'm sure Digi does, that if you listen through the whole Dubkasm back catalogue, it is a real journey of styles. You'd have a one drop for a certain point in the dance, and you'd definitely have lots of steppers for the end of the dance or whenever, and even got that digi I don't know what people like to call it, but you know, that 90s yard sound as well, and like the collection of sevens we did with you with the Exterminator sound too, and I feel really proud of that you know, it can be quite varied, because I think a die-hard Dubkasm supporter might have nearly all of them, so they're going to enjoy the variation, but also it means that somebody who just likes a particular style, they could have a Dubkasm in their collection, and someone who likes the stepper style, they could have one. You're going to get it into more people's collection.
The reason why I say that, and what I notice, is whenever I go away, and you know, people always want to show you they got their collection, and Solo, I got this tune from you, and I got this vinyl from you, and blah blah blah. I don't know, and they ask me a lot about you, because they usually ask me like, when you taught Stryda how to do this? I say, yeah, man, I teach him all of the time. but people always seem to take a Dubkasm record, and they don't really have it in the box, or if they do have it in the box, they'll have cardboard around it. Or they take it off the wall because it was hanging up as a picture.
Love it.
And then they pull it in the box. You understand what I'm trying to say? They always got it like, this is my special purchase.
It's nice to hear, yeah. I mean, maybe some of that's down to the artwork as well, because we've always thought, not with every release, but with some, that the artwork's important too. And, you know, I think for us, concentrating on vinyl a lot, the whole experience of holding it, unwrapping it, you know. So down to the feel of the cardboard, to the artwork, to everything. Especially when it comes to LPs, I think is something that's been lost quite a bit if you're buying albums online.
Yeah.
Compared to a vinyl one, there is something really nice about buying an album and sitting, you know, going home. You're looking forward to playing it. You put it on the deck and you sit back in your chair, maybe roll a spliff, and read the sleeve notes while the album's playing. It's a whole experience.
Yes, sir.
And a bit like the rolling of the spliff is an experience,
yes,
isn't it? It's a ritual.
Yes,
a ritual's a better word.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And you wouldn't just want you know, to inject that little hit. It's just done. You want the ritual.
Half of my meds is the ritual.
Yeah.
Of building it, not just the smoking.
It's a
of
big
it,
part,
like
isn't it?
Yeah. It's part of the meds. I get that still.
And I think that's the case for albums. And so, you know, it's nice to know we've had some good feedback about that with the artwork and stuff with an album. That's why when we did our debut album, Transform I, we were in a period then, that was 2009, we were in a period where there wasn't many roots and dub albums coming out of the UK at that time, from our sort of style, you know, that warrior style, whatever you want to call it, UK dub, I don't know, loads of terms. So when there were lots of tens and coming out, but there wasn't so many albums, so we went all out and, like, you know, had the gatefold sleeve, and people said, you're crazy, because a lot of people, it was all about cutting corners all the time. And I can see why. It's difficult to...
It's not an easy market.
It's not an easy market. It's hard to make the money back. But with us, we weren't running the label to... we were investing all the time. And, you know, a lot of those Dubkasm releases, they're like an advertisement that you're still there and you've put something out and then you get some shows off the back of it. And that's an advantage of being the artist on the label. Yeah. It's a bit different if you're just running a label, and I can see that. Yeah. But yeah, so we definitely decided to, you know, present it like that. Had there was we linked a Rasta painter, illustrator from Gloucester, and he used to paint enough of the old sound system speaker boxes, Rupert Gadd. And we gave him just the track titles. Well, Digi was still in Brazil at this time, but I gave him just the track titles, and then I had to drive up there. Me and Ras Kama drove up there to collect the painting like a few weeks later or something. And I remember thinking, oh, what if I don't like it? You know what I mean? It's this grand unveiling. And he unveiled the painting, and it was quite emotional, to be honest, because he had only had the track titles and he'd incorporated them all into that artwork, which we then put on that's why we did a gatefold sleeve, because we put that on the inner sleeves. And that, you know, for me that lasts forever, and it's special in people's collection. So it's nice to know that people are putting them on their wall.
I see people is like that, you know. They were like, oh, I got this song for you, I got that song for you. Oh.
Yeah.
And I've got this, my music, like,
love it,
like, you know what I mean? It was always in a different section, you know what I mean? But I could see why, I could understand why.
That's
nice. And I could see why. So are you anti-USB then? Are you anti-MP3? Let's put the cards on the table, fam. What are you saying then?
Fire Bunner USB. No, I'm not anti-USB. I had this conversation the other day with Cyanide Sound, actually, because they came to visit and we were talking about it. My reason for playing vinyl is because I love it, and it's just the way I'd like to play it. I can't even imagine myself scrolling through the screen and stuff. I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I want to pick through the records and I want to play it like that. That's just my preference. In terms of cutting the dub plates, we didn't always cut dub plates, you know, as Dubkasm. Some people don't realise, they presume it's always been dubs. But yeah, there was one couple sub dubs we were going up and playing them off CD.
Oh, really?
So there's a news flash.
I've never seen that. I would have loved to see that.
That was way back, but it got to a point where Digi had just got back from Brazil and we're taking it more seriously, going on the road. The album's out, and we pretty quickly decided to go dubplate with it. And part of that was talking to some dubstep friends, and dubplate was very popular in that era with dubstep. So obviously Mala, Vivek, Pinch, Peverlis. There was loads of people playing dub plates, and they I remember a couple of guys saying, you should cut dubs. It would suit it really well. And to be honest with you, at that point, within roots and dub, it was getting more and more digital, and so it actually gave us a little unique angle. Yeah, it's like, oh, they cut dubs. It was a bit unusual.
I understand, like, people always seem to think if you're playing vinyl, that means you're anti.
No,
anything
exactly.
else. It's just a choice, and it's just doing what you're doing, isn't it?
And it's crazy. And obviously, I know a lot of people think about me being anti-digital because I created that jokes thing about the dubplate police and stuff. Because there's a few of us in Bristol. What happened is, we started cutting dub plates and stuff, and I really enjoyed all that. I'd cut dub plates years before. Let's not get it twisted. Man had been to Music House a long time ago and stuff like that. I don't want people to think I'd just done it then. But when we decided to start playing out as Dubkasm, and just go on the road properly, it was like, okay, we made this decision. I didn't think at the time. I was then pushing vinyl a lot, especially with the radio show, and playing the latest vinyl releases and stuff. And with social media taking off and everything, it created a silly thing where quite a lot of local friends were cutting dub plates and playing vinyl. And so I created a jokey dub plate police thing of if someone was found slipping, they get a photo sent back and stuff. And it was only a joke amongst a few friends, and it got crazy where if a certain DJ is suddenly playing digital, I'm literally getting a photo from Outlook Festival sent straight to my phone, and I'm sending it straight back to them, and they haven't even finished the set yet. And they're like, I do it with a load of siren emojis.
All right, okay.
And it was a lot of fun. But when you share things in the public domain, it's like, I don't know. It can be. It can go one or two ways. Some people don't get it. Misconstrued.
They don't get the humor. The humor. We've had that a lot though.
Me and you used to banter online a lot, and then some people are like, "Oh, calm down, you two.
Don't fight,
it's
guys.
Peace and love, brethren.
Peace and love, brethren." I'm like, come on.
And that's
my boy.
Banter.
That's Stryda. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that was taken a bit too seriously sometimes. So for the record, people play what they want to play. And I'll give you an example as well. The whole of the Dubkasm back catalogue has been available digitally this whole time. So we know that some people are going to want to play it digitally, all apart from Victory. And the reason we kept Victory as vinyl only was Victory is it's a standout tune of ours where it's an example of dubplate culture still being relevant and still playing a part in this modern time, in this digital age. And we wanted to kind of give respect to Victory and the amount it had sold and stuff, and make it vinyl only. So that's the only release. Everything else
that was
is
amazing,
available.
knowing it. That must have caught you by surprise.
It caught us big time by surprise, and you were a big part of being on the road with us in that era. And we were playing it, and then we were playing it, and it was having a nice reaction, and we gave it to ABBA. And then he ended Notting Hill Carnival.
I was going to say he ended a few dances with it.
Well, that was the first time.
Okay.
He ended Notting Hill Carnival with it, 2012 maybe, I think. And the video, that was the power of the internet again, because the video just went round everyone, and it was like, wow, the reaction was incredible. And from then, that really lit the fuse. ABBA lit the fuse, ending that Notting Hill Carnival with it. And then we closed every set we did as Dubkasm, and ABBA closed almost every session he did with it for it was ages.
2 years?
Maybe
year and a half? Yeah.
Maybe at least a year. Yeah, it seemed like forever, because people were getting angry at us for not releasing it.
Yeah.
We've never had so many messages about a tune, and people would. It's funny how people come across online, but they were actually like, "What?" When we said no, it's not released yet, they would be angry.
Why the hell not?
Yeah,
like,
what are you doing? Yeah, and it's like, but I'm so glad we we did it the way we did. We just wanted to keep it exclusive, like you do. In fact, it's no different with Victory to other tunes we've done. Nothing ever comes out quickly with us. We do a project and we play it on dubplate for a good period of time, or generally we've done a project and given it suited a certain sound, so we'll give that tune to a certain sound system, and then they play it exclusively for a good period. That's always been the way we've done it. Victory wasn't any different.
Yeah.
It was just causing a big reaction when we were closing the sets with it, and ABBA was. So yeah, it was quite overwhelming. And then, you know, what followed was just like, yeah, a crazy journey with that, man.
It was nice to see. It was great to see. Great to see you still, you know. You know what I've always enjoyed is whenever you've played a set, when you was on the radio or in a dance or something like that, you're always very vocal about the message in the music. Always very, very vocal about that, and I love that. And I've always loved that. You're quite an activist that way, doing it still. Quite a rebel, innit? Well, you're always playing dances with the Corbin t-shirts and things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, going back to those early dances, for me, reggae being presented was always like, you know, whether it was dancehall or roots, a selector's playing the tune and rewinding it, and the man on the mic is always saying it's always what that man says in between the record that's so crucial. It can make the dance, and it makes sense of the selection and everything. Not so much a mixing affair like in other genres. I know you can juggle with dancehall, but it was just what that mic man said in between the tunes was always crucial, and that's what I grew up on. And so, for example, you know, a man starts saying about how long are we going to suffer down in the ghetto, and then releases the next tune and is Sizzler singing about youths in the ghetto. It just emphasizes the message in the music. So it's always been a message music, hasn't it? It's rebel music. It
is rebel music. I don't know if you hear the message so much now.
Well, no, I'm talking about it always was, you know, that's how we grew up in it. And I think that's how I was influenced, really. And I was also influenced by, you know, that pirate radio style where people would always talk a bit. You could get away with talking a bit more.
Yeah. Of course, again, it's radio now, isn't it?
So you know, it wasn't being monitored so much, so you could get your point across.
Yeah, I don't know if it's there now. Have I ever told you the story when I got booked abroad, and they come and pick me up from the hotel. I'm driving to the show, and the guy says to me, "Oh yeah, they wanted me to work on their sound. They didn't want me to go and perform my tunes. They wanted me to work on their sound, you know." And I used to do that for a while. This is one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing it. And we're driving to the dance, and he says to me, "Oh yeah, just one thing, Solo. Tonight, we don't really need any of that Rasta business." So I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we don't really need any of that Rasta business, you know." So I was like, "Well, we may as well turn the car around then."
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
We may as well turn the car around then. And he's like, "Well, no, I'm not saying that." I'm like, "Well, you put the wrong artist then if you're going to say that to me."
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, and it's not that I'm not someone that every song I make and every lyrics I make is about His Majesty. That's not me. I've never been like that as an artist. I've got joke tunes, I've got, you know what I mean, uplifting tunes, whatever.
Really
like, you know, it varies. But it just, I just like, where's your head coming from then for you to say that to me? Like, what are you playing then?
I can't believe the audacity
that's what I mean. I was like, what kind of music are you playing then? What do you mean? Like, you don't want the message then? He's like, well, just tell the crowd to say ho, and we just party. I said, what kind of music are you playing? Because you told me that you was a roots reggae sound, and you wanted me to come and be on the microphone for you. So what are you playing? It's like, yes, we play roots reggae, but we don't. I'm like, well,
those songs are surely singing about it anyway. Yeah.
I'm like, so what? Name me some artists that you play. And he said, we play Congos.
Oh, there you go.
We play Gladiators. I'm like, oh, what do you want me to say before you're playing Gladiators then? I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like
it's pretty. I mean, we're chuckling, but it's offensive, isn't it? It's not right, man. And yeah, it shouldn't. That shouldn't be the way things are at all. It is a message thing, and this is your liberty as well. You're expressing your liberty through word sound.
I'm like, bro, like you got the wrong artist. Then you should have booked somebody else. Yeah, innit? I don't know why you booked me. If you didn't want to hear any of that, you should have booked somebody else. Yeah. Like, but you can't ask me to come on a roots reggae sound that's playing gladiators and congos and expect me to be like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's another reason, going back to, influences. Like, I'm so happy to have seen some of those more message-focused events and sessions and sounds, because that's what has inspired me, really. And to the extent where, for me, and my own journey, visiting Jamaica with my brethren Asher. He took me to Jamaica in '97, and we went to the 12 Tribes of Israel HQ on Hope Road, and reasoning with enough elders and artists, and as a 19-year-old, see, I was a teenager in the 90s, reasoning with a 19-year-old at that, that was very, it had a massive impact. It had a huge impact on how reggae music was just a part of daily life. Irie FM playing, and someone serving a little box drink from a hatch is blasting the radio, and then and the radio reaching every part of Jamaica as well. So we were in Brownstown and you can hear it, and then you're in Kingston, and I think that was a massive learning curve for me, especially with calling the radio sufferer's choice as well. Reggae music is a choice of the sufferer, is a ghetto music in terms of the words in roots reggae. Is uplifting poor people, the cry of the poor, and then here as well, with Elder Ras B in Bristol running the Rastafari HQ, I'd regularly visit and have reasonings there, and I think that did me a lot of good in my standing within reggae music and my own individual outlook, and respect for Rasta, and for the blackness of the music, and for the music in itself as well. And an example is, I don't think many people are pulled up nowadays, and it's a difficult thing if you're going to pull up people on this, that, and the other. Who gives this person the right to whatever? It's a dodgy area. But when I was at the Rasta HQ in Bristol one time, one brother called Raza, who's passed away now, and he just questioned me and said, "Why are you here? What are you doing here?" And then questioned me further. So what's Haile Selassie got to do with you? And I had to have an answer, and I had to know why I was there. And know why I was in this, and I think that can be a really good thing when people are questioned and pulled up, because I was just some white guy with a middle part in, man. You know what I mean? It's like, who was I? And I think when it comes to this being people's liberty and culture and identity, it's really crucial that if you're coming from the outside of that culture and you're coming in to enjoy the music, that you take time to overstand it and have a respect for it.
Yeah, I think that you would hope that's what happens, but I don't think people do that really. I think we all can be guilty of that, maybe with other music, as in it's not part of our life. It's not the way we live. Yeah. Like reggae for me isn't music. It isn't a genre. It's me.
Right.
It's how I grew up.
Yeah.
It's how I eat my food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's how I drink my drink. It's how I walk. I think I walk reggae. You know what I mean? and
it's ingrained in you.
Yeah. It's a different thing. I think it's ingrained in you as well. What's that tune there? We never ever released that tune, is it? You know the tune I'm talking about?
Yeah, we need to with the.
How did it go?
The keys for the bike in the garage or something.
Yeah, what's that? I can't even remember how it went.
We need to see if Digi still.
We should listen to that again.
I know the one you're on about.
Something about
with that lyric.
Not for them. They know the notes, but they don't know the tune.
That's it.
Or something like that.
I mean, that's kind of influenced by that Bob Marley thing about saying enough people. what is that? No, I'm going to forget the flipping line now. But yeah, they play it, but they don't know it, or something along those lines.
Along them lines, there, kind of thing.
Yeah, so. and I think that's very true for people who live it. You know,
I think, but for us, I think we have to acknowledge that other person doesn't know it like how we know it. They don't live it and breathe it. They just like listening to it when they go out.
And people, at the end of the day, when it comes to music, it's not like this is Nyabingi drum sound. This is reggae music that people want record sales, and they want it out there, and they want all different types of people listening to it and coming to the dances and whatever. So, yeah, it's obviously open for everyone to listen to, and they're all going to approach it from different angles, I suppose.
But you have to be clear if you're listening to that. There's going to be there is word sound in there. There is message in the music. It's a rebel music. You know what I mean? But then all if my tune is rebel music, all kind of a lot of rebel tunes in all kind of things.
Yeah,
Rage Against the Machine. Come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that whole. There's a lot of people. Anyone can listen to music. I think what I was talking about earlier is more if you're going to get involved in it, if you're going to start playing it or releasing it, and
then you have to overstand.
Then you have to. Yeah, there should be a certain amount of homework done and respect given. That's more the point I was making.
Yeah, for real. I saw today. I don't know if you see it. There was some Brexiteers, and they tweeted. He was complaining because he was coming back. I don't know if you see this, Kris, and he was in the queue, at customs, because he couldn't go in the EU queue anymore. He had to go in the other passports queue.
Wow.
And he was in the other passports queue for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. People are checking that he got the visa and red. And he's put up a tweet saying, I didn't vote for Brexit for this. I'm like, you donut. What did you think was going to happen? You flipping
I know. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised and shocked, man. It's like, oh.
It just made me laugh. So
yeah.
Like, you idiots. You know what I mean? That was a shocker. Was you shocked about that? I wasn't.
I think...
It was disappointing.
I was very disappointed. I think I was shocked at the... I've been shocked more recently at, like, how things have gone. It's, like, really tipped, and we're in a quite a dark time, it feels. And, that's really sad to see. Hate crime and racism and stuff on the rise. I think that's... it's a real cause for concern. And... even more reason to do what we do and try and keep pushing on and bring people together in the way we know how.
I've got a plus to it though.
What's that?
I'm glad that you're coming out of the closet. I'm glad to see who's who.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there is that. Yeah. Because
I'm glad to see. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So you're one of them.
I do.
And you're racist.
I do think we were in a period of time definitely where. It seemed like a lot of stuff had got better, but it just goes to show that with people coming out of the woodwork like they are now and saying this, that, and the other, it's like, well, actually, they obviously did think this, and they just needed the validation to be able. I think that's what Brexit did. It gave people it validated their racism and stuff like that. Now I can say, speak your own language and in my country and all that crap.
Yeah.
It's like. Whereas before they would have tried to hold that back a bit. But I think at the same time, it breeds hate as well, because if something then becomes the norm, that things are being said, then other people can get influenced, and I think that's a bit worrying still. But yeah, it's dread times definitely, I think, at the moment, and who knows where it's all gonna end up.
Yeah, it's a mad thing still, but I do think that's a plus. If you can find a plus, I do think it's a plus the fact that you know who's who kind of thing. You know what I mean? Although to be fair, maybe it's not even that, because I always knew who was who. Really, you get that feeling.
Okay.
I think you get that feeling. It's nice to know now, I suppose, that I could say that and someone else is going to believe me.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking it's a chip on my shoulder.
I can imagine there's a lot
paranoid,
of people that would, if you were talking about these things a while back, there's a lot of people thinking,
dismiss it
a bit, yeah.
They'd be dismissive. They'd be, no, you sure that's what happened? No, you know what I mean? Whereas like now,
And let's not get it twisted. This whole country the institutionalized racism is real, and it's there, and it always has been, and it's going to take a lot of undoing to try and remedy that. And right now, people are saying, "Oh, it's got worse," which it has, but it's maybe it hasn't got worse. Maybe it's just become more exposed. I don't know, but it is. There's a real dark history here in England. Colonialism and everything.
It wasn't nice. You know what I mean?
No, it's a lot.
You're not able to colonize half the world by being nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, it's not it's not what I want to be a part of. But here we are living our lives, trying to make sense of it all.
Bristol's cool, don't it?
Well, I think there's these pockets and bubbles, isn't there? Yeah, there's I feel very blessed to live in Bristol, where there's a lot of like-minded people, but that's where it's easy to think that everyone thinks like that. And actually, as we found from these, from the recent election and Brexit before that as well, it's like the whole country doesn't think like that, and I think a lot of people were tripped up by that, it's it's like a bubble, and I just feel I feel, for me, on a selfish note, I'm glad to be here. I wouldn't want to be out somewhere where everyone thinks very. Imagine people who are thinking along the lines that we do, but they're completely outnumbered, and it's pretty dread for them.
If you want to live where I live, so.
Yeah, I would still think of you living where you did live, So I don't think you'd be living up there. Not going to say where.
No, but I hear what you're saying still, though, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. It's not much. There's no definite end to that conversation, is there?
Oh, we could talk about that all day, yeah, of course. That could be the whole thing.
Yeah.
And and another thing, like going back to what you were saying about earlier, we got kind of sidetracked by the victory thing. You were saying, am I against digital and all that? Mm-hmm. I think our other reason for playing records was because we wanted to represent what we were releasing. We don't get mass digital sales, so we're trying to sell our units of vinyl, so we wanted to be seen representing the releases, playing them first on record. That was another part of all that. I didn't get to finish it because we went on the victory tip.
Okay.
And so it was like a lot of the people who buy records, they are sound men, and they are DJs, because it's limited runs generally around the world. And so a lot of the reasons people give to not play records, which are all valid, such as they're heavy, they cost a lot, they might jump, they're all the same reasons why those customers buying the records could easily say, well, I'm not going to buy it then because they're heavy and they're this and they're that. So we just wanted to be representing the format we love and that we're selling to people. So that was like finished off why we chose to do what we did. But it was everyone does their thing their own way, and that's fine. It's like, we got no... there's no animosity. Like we talked about with Sinai yesterday, it's really interesting because they're talking about bringing in sound systems to venues, and these venues really not being equipped for vinyl decks, and sound systems being so heavy that it's really hard to not get feedback and stuff like that.
Bro, you know what? That caught me one time we were playing in Bristol. We were playing across the road, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Remember there's a venue across the road?
Club UK or Dimensions,
Dimensions did time, I think. Or was it Club UK? But over the road there. And we turn up, and they ain't got the decks.
Yeah.
First time it happened to us still, you know what I mean? We turn up and ain't got the decks. I brought CDs just in case,
So you could play still, luckily.
So we could still play. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to bring some CDs just in case, you know what I mean? And I brought a pouch of CDs. But yeah, we turned up with like 2 record boxes and they had no.
Yeah,
no
and that was then. You
know what I mean?
imagine now it's even more. It's even harder. And I'm not one of these people who say, "Well, I play records because they just sound better and all that." It's like actually, in some of the, maybe they do if you're lucky enough to go and play on someone's sound system and they got a lovely preamp and a nice deck set up on some sponge and everything, and that vinyl sounds really lovely for it. But if you're going in and you're playing at festivals and at club venues, they're often not. They haven't had anyone play records all day, all night, all week, all month.
Yeah, man, for real.
And so it's not all set up that way. So actually, playing a WAV off a USB is going to sound great in there, you know.
God,
and it does sound great. That sounds fine. It's like, you know, let's not get it twisted. It's like. It can be so for us taking this stance to just play records. I can see how people in other genres that would be really difficult because they're, you know, we're very blessed to do those sessions I just talked about, kind of thing, and where it's set up for vinyl pretty much, but in other genres, people telling me stories where they're trying to cue up their acetate dub when someone's smashing it with playing off USB, and it's like, you know,
or on a boat party,
or a boat party
in Croatia,
and you have to take over. That's how militant I was. The thing is, for me, because I started the dub plate police, I'm stuck now. I can never, if I slip, that's it. They're all gonna come down on me.
Is that? Oh, you're the foundation.
Yeah.
Let me give you some quick fire things, yeah?
Yeah.
Jack Fizzle said I had to give you some quick fire things.
Okay.
All right. Dennis or Gregory?
Dennis.
Okay. Iroy or Yellowman?
Iroy.
Easy now. Iroy or Uroy?
Ooh, I'd say Iroy still.
See it? One more. Iroy or Alimantado?
Oh, you know what? Just because of my youth, I'm going to go Alimantado.
Jeez!
Yeah, because certain tunes
I wasn't expecting that.
Certain tunes just, really stood out to me. I think that's just a personal thing of,
I wasn't expecting that.
That Best Dressed Chicken album, when I got it at a certain time, at a certain age, and it's just,
Okay.
registered with me massively, that one.
All right.
Quick fire things, I like it.
All right. King Tubby's or Prince Jammy?
Ooh. I'm gonna go Jammy.
Enough of them don't know Prince Jammy now. Enough of them only know King Jammies, but they don't know Prince
Jammy.
I'm
gonna go Jammies.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because certain of those tunes I love, man. Certain ones. I mean, you're putting me on the spot. Tubby's I love loads of Tubby's tunes, so I love them both. But you're just saying, you know, I love some of those Jammies ones, like they're absolute killers, man. Okay. I love them. I just love that sound.
Okay. Prince Jammies or Scientist?
Jammies again. Digi would say Scientist straight away.
Hands down.
Because
I wouldn't even ask Digi.
Loving those dub albums.
I wouldn't even ask Digi.
I still love Jammies.
I wouldn't even ask him.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He's Scientist through and through. Really?
Yeah.
So Jammies. All right then. Scientist.
Big up Jammies, you know?
Scientist or Mad Prof?
Scientist.
All right. Maccabee or Solo Banton?
I do. Solo Banton every time. Yo, Maccabee.
Oh, joking still. Cocoa Tea or Garnet Silk?
Ooh, Cocoa Tea for me. You know it's going to be Cocoa Tea. But yeah. Oh, that's a hard one still.
Yeah,
that's a hard one.
I know you always say Cocoa Tea is your guy, but I know Garlic is a weak spot for you still.
Yeah, definitely. But Coco is like, he's got one of those voices that for my youth, that's just, it does something, man. Again, it's age when you're introduced to certain songs and artists. And I think Coco, I had that Authorized album. Remember that? Oh, Unauthorized.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I had that as
that was Gussie, innit?
As a youth. Was it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. All right, then. Sizzler, Praise Ye Jah album or Black Woman and Child album?
Ooh. You're saying quickfire, but it's getting me thinking, man. Black Woman and Child, has that got Hard Ground on?
Yeah.
But then Praise Ye Jazz got Hail Selassie on.
Yep.
Oh, that's almost impossible, man. You know what? I'm gonna say Praise Ye Jah just because it's got memories from when I went to Jamaica. I think that came out that year, maybe 97 when I was there.
Okay.
So it's personal again.
Okay.
Yeah, even though other one's hard, man. Remember hearing Sizzler on that tour in the UK, 1998. Luciano, Sizzler. There's 4 artists. Louis Culture.
And
Mikey General, maybe. Lucci, Mikey, Sizzler. It was an Exterminator tour. I'm sure it was them 4. And they played Birmingham. We went up there.
Okay.
Yeah, went up with Lash's Degree. Remember Lash's?
Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah, we went up there. And yeah, when Sizzler did Black Woman and Child in Birmingham, and the whole crowd is just lighters, man. That was a mad moment.
I've got an impossible one that I know you're not going to want to answer. ABBA.
Here we go.
Allow it.
Trying to bait me out on camera.
Could have been worse still. That could go on forever.
That could definitely go on forever.
I never started that one there still.
But for me with sound system, I got to say, like, people often say about their favourite and whatever. And I think the beauty is you don't have to choose, man. Like, they all give something. They all offer something.
Yeah.
You know, with the I love all the different sounds for what they offer.
I think before we used to say that we used to affiliate ourselves with a sound just like a football team.
Yeah.
I think it was just more the fun of doing that. But everybody loved every sound. You're just going out and you listen to everybody.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you just more back in them times, especially when there was a lot of clash dances and stuff like that. You would just say that that's my sound, and when you and someone else's sound meet, then you'd just be rooting for somebody.
Okay.
Just like it's a football team.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an actual favourite. I don't know if it's possible to have a favourite.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, I've got ones that really, but you know, I feel very close to. I've followed a lot, but yeah, everyone's got their flavour, man. And you know, that's what's been great about Teachings in Dub is you know, seeing that dynamic when it's 2 sound systems and you see the different flavour they bring. Like when, I don't know, off the top of my head, Blackboard Jungle and meets Maasai Warrior. 2 completely different styles, 2 different sounds, and that's what's nice, man. And it amazes me how I put these dances on, and people come out and they're like, yeah, it was all about this sound, or it was all about that sound, and it's never unanimous.
Nah, it's never going to be, is it?
Because people get what they get from the sound, and certain people are listening for. Different people are listening for different stuff as well.
For real.
And that's what makes it great, really, with sound system. And that different. I love the fact that. I mean, I prefer it when all the equipment was really different, and the boxes, you know, the home built sounds.
Yeah.
And it really would sound different.
Yeah.
That's what makes it what it is, isn't it? Rather than an in-house PA where it's a bit uniform.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
Yeah, man, definitely. Bounty or beanie?
Bounty, straight.
Jeez.
No hesitation.
No long thing with
God,
that
I'm quicker on the dancehall ones, isn't it?
Yeah, you are very much quicker. But I tell people all this all the time, and they're like, "Who's Stryda? You only listen to dub." I say, "Him? No, man, you must be mad."
Remember, Bounty and Beanie was a real thing, though, wasn't it? Like, I remember Lashes again on the radio, and he was always defending Beanie. And he's like playing all these tunes, and he's like shouting us out, me and my friends, because we were into Bounty Killer, and he's like, "Yo, Stryda, it's all about Beanie. Listen. It was such a thing back then."
Yeah. Kemist is a bounty man, isn't it? You're bounty, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember his show at Malcolm X was wicked, man. That was yeah.
Did you ever see the couple of years ago he done a show as Rodney Price? Did you ever see that?
No.
So he just done all of them tune there, Poor People Governor tunes,
no
just
way.
all of them kind of tune there.
Wicked.
I'd love to see that show.
Yeah, for real, man.
I'd love to see that show there. Because whenever he took up that mantle, I thought those tunes was hard.
Yeah.
Not just because of the message of what he was saying, but I just thought they was hard. But I think he's socially, I think he has he says a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Some of those lyrics are. I've said to people before. I remember playing a tune on a Bounty tune, and people are like, "Oh, what's this? You've gone all dancehall," and it's like, listen to the words of this, man. This is like roots reality, isn't it? I remember when I went to Jamaica actually saying, "Oh, I want can you play in the record shop? Can you play me some roots music?" Or can't remember the terms I used, but they didn't know what I was talking about, and they were like, "Oh, you mean reality? You mean reality?" Like, and it was just that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, okay.
The different terminology, you know,
things and stuff like that.
Because it's roots reality, isn't it? Talking about, I don't know.
I remember when you upset so many people at where was we, Door Festival, and you played Super Cat.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like,
yeah. It's like sometimes that's your influence on the road with us, man. You bring that out.
I used to love doing that to you. Anytime before we used to play Kemist, yeah, and like that, and like getting their head into the zone, you know what I mean? Like we're playing reggae dub bus, every festival there kind of thing, and it's like, it's roots all night, you know what I mean? Not me, fam. That man there come to my hotel room or something like that, you know what I mean? Or on my phone, you know what I mean? I'm playing pure 90s dancehall, you know what I mean? You always saying to me, you're always saying, "Yo, Stryda, draw for this, and I want to hear some Sean Paul." While he's going through the box, you know, we played in like 10 minutes and say, "Yo, you have any Sean Paul? Want to hear some Shabba tonight?"
But it's interesting, isn't it, having those conversations abroad with some of the soundmen when you hear their experience and interpretation of the whole reggae thing. It's different again.
Yeah, because it's like they only want to listen. If they listen to UK dub, that's all they ever listen to. Like reggae is no bigger than UK dub kind of thing. You know what I mean? You play a one drop or something like that. They're like, no, I don't listen to that.
Yeah, it's funny when it gets pocketed or you know, pigeonholed. But I think also with that, it's like people's influence has come because they've learnt a lot. In certain countries, people have had to learn through the internet. Whereas obviously here, growing up around the black community, I was lucky to get
listen
that.
To everything.
Yeah, personal experience. And I think there's some stuff, again, going back to what gets lost. It's always a thread, isn't it? But like certain things get lost, like humour. Sometimes the humour is not, like humour among the Caribbean community, like that could be lost on a newer generation from another country. Because you don't learn that through the internet.
No,
that's through rolling with people.
And
I think that can be interesting, how sometimes things are misread and and especially when me and you are bantering and stuff on the road. Some people's like, what are they on? Thinking it's got to be so serious all the time, and it's like, yo, like you said, Rasta man can have a joke, man. Well, you know, come on,
like please, I'm
smile every day.
Yeah, man, bring I joy in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
You know I don't know what you're on, but
bring I joy. It doesn't have to all be somber, man. Yeah.
You know what's weird? I'm spending my birthday in the UK, and the sun was shining. I spent so many years, my birthday, in some Eastern European minus 25 country with you.
We seem to have a little,
you know what I mean?
A little run, didn't we, of going to cold countries on your birthday, mad. February, yeah.
Like every year, you know what I mean? Oh, Ukraine, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Moscow,
Siberia, yeah. Oh, Moscow, yeah, okay. Poland, okay, like.
Yeah, there were some cold birthdays.
Jokes, though.
Mad, though, isn't it, as well? Well, you lost the snowball fight, blood.
Yeah. Do you remember that? You see, not only the snowball fight. I know we only ever talk about the snowball fight, yeah. But do you remember being in Kiev and we went to something to eat, to the restaurant.
Okay.
And we walked through the door, and like the silence dropped. When I walked through the door, like when this black man walked through the door, like silence, like the whole restaurant just went quiet, yeah. And do you remember we walked for quite a way before we got to our table.
Yeah.
I think we walked through the restaurant and then up the stairs. But it was like the news that there was a black man in the restaurant got round before we got round it. So as he was walking around the corner,
People was already
looking around the corner to see me coming around. You remember? Do you remember that?
I remember. Yeah, I remember Moscow as well when you got pissed off in that restaurant because you're like you could feel a vibe from certain people.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And stood outside in the Ukraine. Remember, and the promoter's like, yo, let's go back inside because not everyone thinks like us. Yeah. Not everyone thinks like us around here.
I remember saying to him in Ukraine, I said to him, I'm going to stand outside, and he's like, no, not you.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Say it sometimes still, you know what I mean?
And that's really taking the music and the vibes to new territories, man, isn't it? You know, It's like, remember some people travelled to that Ukraine show. Some people travelled from Russia.
Yeah, I know. That was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's commitment, man. And I feel very blessed to have seen all those little pockets and communities around the world. It gives you hope in the dark times we were just talking about. That gives hope because a lot of the people that have welcomed us in, not the people in the restaurant, but the people who've welcomed us in.
Well, they was cool. Don't get me wrong. They was cool, but they were just like.
But like you've always said, there's a difference between kind of fascination and or being nasty.
Yeah.
If a man's if they're not used to seeing you and they're looking,
they're going to be fascinated, isn't it?
Okay, that's one thing, but there's certain other places we've been when it's hostile and you're like, it's not nice.
Vibe still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think those people that have booked us and taken us in these little pockets all around the globe. They're lots of like-minded people, so it can seem like we're just outnumbered by these idiots out there, but there are still, people on side who are feeling the vibes. It's important to remember.
And again, to go back to something else that we touched on before, that's why the message in the music is very important.
Yeah, for real.
That's why it has to be like focus on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bass line is nice.
Of course.
Yeah, but did you hear what the man said?
Yeah.
Is there a teachings that we all could learn from?
Yeah, for real.
At this point here. Like,
you
know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's that's just as important as ever, if not more. And I think, different people responding to the music for different reasons is a thing there, And it's like, message first, man.
Has to be, innit?
Yeah, for me. And it's, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it? It's like, we need people there to actually explain those messages a bit and put them across, because it's not just as simple sometimes as listening to a song. You can get you can actually interpret that song wrong.
Yeah, man, definitely.
You could interpret the whole of Rasta wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, people we meet in different countries who have got their own kind of take on things, and it's like, well, this isn't how we learnt stuff.
Yeah, for real.
So I think people explaining it would be helpful.
I think it's a must sometimes. I've had people come to me and said to me, oh, in this song you said this. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I never said that at all. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you did. You said that. I said, no, I didn't say that at all. Yeah, I had a guy, he said to me about reggae recipe. He said to me that I said all music came from reggae. I said, I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
Said,
why would you have said that?
I don't remember saying that at all. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. Like, yeah, you did. I said, when did I say that? I start thinking about the lyrics. Like, I said that.
So there
I
you
didn't
go,
say that. No. And what I said in the song was, anytime you hear the chop, if you hear the chop in any other music, know that reggae influenced that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah? But
big difference.
Yeah, a slight difference there, you know what I mean? But he interpreted as if I said all music came from reggae.
Yeah.
And he was ready to be like, no, it doesn't, kind of thing. I'm like, well, I didn't say that, fam. So, next question.
Oh, man. Yeah, it just shows, people interpret in a different, well, even putting words in your mouth there as well. That's dread. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? So yeah, listen, let's talk about some radio thing. I know you're going back on the radio.
Yeah, looking forward.
Back on the FM and everything there.
It's
FM, right?
It's FM. It's very exciting, actually. After 25 years or whatever it's been, it's like finally Bristol's getting a legal station.
Okay.
There is one already, Ujima, but they got a predominantly speech-based license. So there's a lot of talk shows. So, but this new station, SWU FM, has got a license to just play music.
Okay. Right.
And Bristol really needs that, man, and it's needed it for a long time. So I feel really pleased to be a part of it after all the pirate radio. Pirate radio beginnings. It's like,
Why don't you do more? Why don't you do more conversational things though? Because you are very knowledgeable in a lot of things. Like why?
Well, I did do because the radio's been going up for over 20 years. There was periods when I did lots of interviews, live interviews, reasoning. I wouldn't even call them always interviews. It would be more of a reasoning. I definitely always focused on the message. So rather than talking about artists. First release or whatever, we'd quickly touch on that and then it would go very deep. So those interviews with like Augustus Pablo, I mean, it was amazing what he ended, like as an example, Mutabaruka, Yabayu, they would all touch on some real deep things and it would go on a reasoning as opposed to a question answer vibe. So I did do a lot of that. I used to have the little mini disc machine, travel around with that, go up to London, meet artists when they're over, and that was a big part of the show. But now the show is going to be monthly. I think there's going to be so much music that I want to push because that's what people loved about the show in, say, more recent times. When I say recent times, I mean like the last 10 years probably, is how it was always showcasing the latest records that you could buy. People used to tell me that they would sit listening to the show with a pen and paper.
It was like that.
And they would write it down like, I'm going to order this, order that.
The whole show used to be test presses all the time, didn't it? Then,
yeah,
stuff like that.
And those test presses, man, everyone sent them, they're great. And I pulled out a load of records off the shelves the other day and they were all test presses. And I was like, I don't know what's what here. It was all very well, but like I got to go through everything and try and work out what this is, And so I don't know. There's something about when you get the record with the label, you kind of remember it, don't you? I remember where it is in the collection, but if they're all white labels, it's just
you got a clue where it goes.
Yeah. But give thanks to everyone sending them because there's a lot of test presses. That was so I wanna still push the new latest releases, and I'll probably get some special guests coming in. And I don't want to do the interviews. I've decided I want to get them to come in and play tunes. So when they come to play. But just because I have done some of the reasonings for that I feel like it might come again, but right now I want to use the show to push the music, mainly because it's monthly. If I was doing it weekly, there'd be much more scope. But it's great because everyone, when we're touring, loads of people still ask when the Sufferer's Choice is coming back, which is amazing that people still want to hear it. That's lovely, and I'm really pleased to say it is. I think it's May 2020. So it's going to be back. It'll be on the FM in Bristol. So that means a lot of listeners who possibly stopped listening, taxi drivers, Caribbean food shops, but older generation as well who didn't go and listen on to the radio on the internet. When it moved over that way, they can listen again, as well as it'll obviously be online and it can.
It's nice that you could get it on a
transmit to the world.
Yeah, man. Nice.
So that's great. I've really missed doing it. It's like, having the kids. My boy is 6, nearly 7, and my little girl is 4. That's been a mission which you've experienced. I know why you're laughing.
You know exactly why I'm laughing, innit? Because there's nothing greater than watching your friends going through the same crap that you had to go through. And you could just
the amount of times I phoned you and said, "Yo, why didn't you tell me so?"
I said, "I told you, bro. You wasn't listening." The best conversation I ever had with you, I think, concerning the children, is when you said to me, "You both was having another one."
Yeah.
When you said to me, you're like, "Oh, she's pregnant," I said, "Yeah." He was like, yeah, 2. I said, yeah, 2. He was like, yeah, but it's just 2, innit? Same again. I was like, yeah. My man said, well, it's just same again, innit? I was like, no,
not
bro.
at all. Now
no,
I know,
brother.
Yeah.
It's not the same at all. 2 is different from 1.
Juggling.
He was like, yeah, obviously. I was like, no. 2 is different from 1. You will see. Hit me back.
I've hit you back a few times. I know you love to rub that in.
Oh, brother, trust me, man. But you know, obviously, it's a joy. You know what I mean? But
it's a joy, but it's getting that balance right, and it's been a journey. You know, when they're really little, like that's what I was saying, 6, nearly 7, and 4 years old. She's going to be starting school in September. That's a very different thing. 2 children in full-time school, to the whole early years and the nappy changing and the sleepless nights and whatever. So I'm at a different stage now, tying that in with the radio. I feel like it's a good time to come back right now and do the monthly show. It was getting really full on, being away, doing Dubkasm shows all weekend, and I come back, and then Essie's got the kids, and then, you know, I come back and I'm like, right, radio. There's radio on a Monday, and it's just like, oh, you know, it took its toll for a while. So, but you know, it's a good thing to talk about, because being in a family and being there for the children, you're bringing them up, you know, as a dad, it's like, and being on the road and doing music, that's a whole subject in itself, man.
It's full time, man. It's double full time. It's like full time with extra hours, kind
for real.
Thing, you know what I mean? But again, this has to be done in that way there. Have you found that? Obviously, you found it's a stupid question in that way there, but your whole outlook on everything changes once you have the children, doesn't it? Like you become more interested in politics if you wasn't that interested in before. I think you start thinking about the future of things, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think some things that, you know, you might even be watching a movie, and certain things that you would have just gone over your head a bit are like, oh, that's cutting me a bit deep there. You got your youths, and it's like, you know, you're thinking of their future and everything. It changes your perspective massively. It's also changed priorities, but I think you go through a period of an adjustment, you know. And with one, it was I was keeping on juggling stuff fairly well, but like you say, when number 2 came along, it was like, oh, this is getting too much for everyone. It was a real juggling act, you know, being away at weekends and stuff like that. And with long travel, it's obviously tiring, and then coming back and straight. It was like living 2 opposite lives of in terms of your energy levels. You know, sleepless nights in the week, and trying to do it early to bed, early to rise, and then you get to the weekend, it's like, oh, you're on at 3 till 5 in the morning. Like, you know, it was a clash. But I give enough thanks for the music that it also allowed me to be very present during the week. I've helped bring them up, you know. It's been a 50-50 vibe. Yes, it's that's a real blessing. Yes, and that changes things again with them both going to school. Weekends are more precious now. We're very we have to be much more picky with Dubkasm shows right now, because
the balance, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't be away every weekend basically, and so we are turning down certain shows. We just turned down a really good show.
Man sounded wounded. You're like,
oh, there's a really good show coming up, yeah. And it's like, but we'd already got 3 weekends filled in that month, and I was like, you know what, can't do that, yeah. And so there's going to be, you know, I spent years going for every opportunity, and so there's an adjustment and a shift. It's like, can't do that now. I'm just give thanks that we're still able to keep it all going and keep in a balance, you know. Because I looked around at one time and I was like, God, there's not many people doing this on the road with really young children, especially not many in a family setting as well. And suddenly it dawned on me, like, wow, you the odds are against you a bit.
There's a reason why. It's a really good reason why. That's not the norm.
So that's taken a lot of conversations and a lot of readjustment, and it's been a roller coaster.
School is mad, isn't it?
God, crazy.
When he started school, it's just different children, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just come back different. You're just like, who is this person?
Again,
like,
you said that would happen. You were like, yeah. It's nice to have some friends who are a bit older and who've gone through it all, because I've been able to get a lot of advice from, I've spoken to you a lot. Abba's given me, enough thoughts on it all, because he's been through it. And it's like, yeah, it's just, you don't get it till it happens, but yeah, then those words ring true. And I remember you saying about school, and it's like, well, you kind of lose them a bit, and that's it's sad.
Yeah, man, because your voice you're not the only voice in their head now.
No, and they change.
Yeah, man, and because of that, they change, and not only that, it's not only that because they're used to your voice all the time. All the other voices are now more, what's the word? They're more appealing. Yeah. They're more exciting.
Yeah.
Because they've heard your voice since day one.
Of course.
So they're bored of your tone. I'm bored of this rhythm.
You're not listening to me,
Like, who's this person who's talking? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. I always find it in the school holidays, At the beginning, he can be quite difficult. Come the end, it's like, oh, there he is again.
Yeah.
And he's back, because they just relax and they get into that vibe. Yeah. It's like, it's sad, really, to be honest. Like, I don't like the school system here. How much they push them, how many hours they're in there, and everything. It's like, I definitely think that could really be looked at. But it is what it is.
I'm not a fan of the school system anyway. Like, 20 children in one class, they don't learn the same.
More, 30 plus children, man.
I was being quite generous with 20 still, definitely. But they don't learn the same, do they? They don't learn the same.
Well, I went in the other day and I was like, he had some little sheet down with some maths. I've always been bad at maths, right? Yeah. And he's got this sheet down, and I was like, oh, when they do a little bit before the day starts, and he's working out there, all the kids around. And I was like, just before I went, I was like, oh, I'll help him with those couple. Anyway, he got back. I was like, how'd you get on with that thing? He said, got them all wrong. I was like, what, even the ones I did? He said, yeah, even the ones you did. I was like, oh my God. I'm getting my son's homework wrong now.
Was he vexed with you? I bet he was vexed.
He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. Yeah, he's obviously thinking, "Oh, my dad's gonna have at least got them right."
Yeah.
But what it got me thinking is, I can't remember doing this at 6. You know what I mean? Like these sort of the level it was. Okay, it was real complicated, man. Yeah. And I do think they push them. Yeah, it's like they push them on stuff.
Yeah, it's worrying sometimes how things are heading in that way there.
Yeah.
For
even being in school till 18 now, it's a long time away.
It's a long time,
Remember, at 16, I needed to go out and find my way, like going to art college and then realising music meant more. All that realisation was through that experimenting time when you're a teenager, man. I don't know if it would have gone the same way if I'd have still been in school.
No, I don't think it would have. I think if you're gonna stay, if you have to stay in school, I think there's a difference between staying and having to stay.
Yeah.
Because obviously you could have stayed in sixth form, but we could have stayed in sixth form or whatever like that. I think if that's your choice, then it's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think having to stay till you're 18, you're just being conditioned, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't think you're being allowed to become the person you naturally are gonna be. You know what I mean? I never could have done that. I couldn't wait.
No way. I couldn't wait to get out, man. It's exactly the same. I couldn't wait, and I did a lot of learning after that in my own way, Yeah, and it's like, yeah. And I've carved away with the music for me, and it was having that freedom to do that. So who knows what it'll be like for them? All we can do is be there and be examples.
Yeah, for real. Cause I do think that though, if you're there till you're 18. I think you're being conditioned as a young adult, really. I don't see anything, no plus in that. The only plus I can see is conditioning for one, and keeping the figures down, unemployment figures down, or whatever like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just not for everybody. That isn't for everybody. It wasn't for me. Sitting in, being in the classroom wasn't for me. I learned with my hands. I learned on the
this
job.
is it. It's people learn in different ways, and you notice when you have your children, especially having two, how different that they both are. they both learn in different ways, and they're both, what suits one doesn't suit the other, man. And it's like, it's just like conditioning them, like you said, a little bit. Yeah, I found that hard, letting go a bit.
Yeah.
And that was difficult. I don't know, you get used to it though. With the second one, we were ready to in you go then. It's done. I need some time.
The third one is jokes, man. See, when you get to 3, you don't even business. You're just like, yeah.
Who's that comedian?
Not like you don't even business, but you're just like, come on, man, get up.
Who's that comedian I always send you the clips of? The Judy Love.
Yeah.
And that sketch of her walking out the school, and she's like, bye, baby. I'm so sad. And then she starts shocking out to all that jungle.
Puts on jungle, doesn't she? Puts on jungle and starts shocking out, like, you know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that about the 18. Actually, I didn't really thought about that too deep before. You know, you're not too sure about that. You know,
no, not me at all. It's long. If you think about your own experience, like at 18, I was working. I was at college, but I also, like I said, 19 went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And it was like I really realised now this is what I want to do with this.
Yeah.
So it might be wrap it up. They're gonna be wrap it up.
Seeing, so thank you. Coming on, I have to give you the stamping and your Old Raggamuffin still in it.
Thank you, sir.
Still, your times for coming on, brother.
Nice to come on, man.
We should do this again though, because I think we've got more things to explore,
Yeah, there's always more. There's always
talk
more.
about life a bit more still.
Yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, and big up for the Old Raggamuffin success as well. It's good to see, man. No, just the album. Yeah, but I'm taking the cup. This is mine. Yeah, isn't that way? I need something for this.
I've got a sticker in the car, still like your Old Raggamuffin.
Sticker.
Yeah.
I want a
Old
mug.
Raggamuffin sticker. Mug.
You're lucky man's gonna drink out of this.
You gotta be on it. You gotta come in here like. What do you reckon, Kris? Before they get a mug, 3 times.
3 times to get one mug.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a mug.
Wow. No, I think you have to you got to be on 3 times before you get a mug. You get a sticker the first time.
I'll look forward to drinking out of this again then.
I think we should do
that. It's going to be a
while.
while.
A sticker the first time.
Sticker the first time.
I don't know what you get for
What's the second?
I don't know. I'm thinking about that. But the third time is a mug. You don't reach mug level yet. But give thanks, bro. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Appreciate the time. So
yeah, always good to reason, man.
Yes, sir.
Bless.
Appreciate the time. Bro.
Yeah, love.
What you said? Old Raggamuffin.
Bye.
Old Raggamuffin.